Hi guys, this is gsrno.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the Oppo Reno5 5G. I find it fascinating that last year in the spring I was testing the Oppo Reno3 series, in September I was testing the 4 series, and here I am in March with the 5 series. Oppo is moving very fast. This device was unveiled in January, it's still rather fresh, and it focuses on a high mid-range experience. At the same time, it has a very fast 65 watt charging and the most unusual texture of the backside I've seen. It should be glass, but it feels like sandpaper, chalk or cardboard. Very interesting, unusual, and for some people it may create goosebumps on account of the texture. The price is $460. I have a quad camera here, a pretty slim design as usual for an Oppo Reno, and a pretty solid sounding screen. I'm going to put this on the side and focus on seeing what's inside the box. First of all, a black envelope which hosts a case which is transparent and flexible. Should protect the device against scratches and also let you see its beautiful blue color. Here we have the manual and a bunch of other documents which you may find useful or necessary for warranty. Inside the box we have a few more accessories, and when I say a few, we actually have some surprises here. The surprise is that aside from the charger and the cable, we have some headphones. So this is the cable, it goes from USB-C to USB-A. It's thicker than usual to deliver the proper fast charge. And surprise, surprise, we have a pair of headphones. Nowadays, we're happy to receive a charger, let alone a pair of headphones with a 3.5mm jack, or better said, connector. And this hefty little fellow is a charger with a USB-A connector and as usual delivers the promise of Super VOOC 2.0 and juices up the phone at 65 watts. Quite the beast. I've seen Oppo doing that before, they've always amazed me, broken down a few records, and I've seen the predecessor or one relative of the predecessor charging up in around 30 minutes or so, which is crazy. Now the screen is already too bright for me, so I'm going to take it down a notch, and it's even too bright at this point. Okay, so first things first, it's a very light phone and a very slim device compared to what's on the market nowadays. I'm talking about something like 7.9mm in thickness and a weight of just 172 grams. Most phones nowadays are knocking towards 200 grams or 190, not this one, 172. Now we have a special fingerprint resistant material here, so definitely no KFC grease on the backside or fingerprints, and the feeling is a bit off, a bit weird. It's called azure blue, that's the hue. There are other colors like galactic silver or starry black. This is supposed to be glass in spite of the unusual texture, and then we have a metal frame, and then we have glass at the front side as well. Now, I'm using here a combo of face unlock and fingerprint scanning with a fingerprint scanner embedded in the screen. Speaking of the screen, this is quite a bright one. It's an AMOLED panel, 6.4-inch diagonal, which is small nowadays, 20:9 aspect and a resolution of Full HD+. It has a punch hole here at the top left corner and also 90 Hz refresh rate. There's also 180 Hz touch sampling rate, which may come in handy for the gamers. Now, the fingerprint scanner is once again in the screen, and if you want to see it demoed, I'm going to have to cover the camera here and do something like this. And that was a demo. Now, I'm used to the swipes, that's why I kept doing that. As far as the CPU is concerned, this is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 765. I'm familiar with it. I saw it in action on the Oppo Reno4 Pro 5G and Oppo Reno3 Pro 5G, so totally familiar. 7nm octa-core, 2.4 GHz, accompanied in this case by 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. There's no microSD card slot, but there's a battery which some people may consider to be a bit small for nowadays standards. 4300 mAh, people are demanding for at least 4600, but anyways, charges up fast, 65 watts, Super VOOC 2.0 via this USB-C port here, and at the bottom we find the speaker, microphone and audio jack. There's Wi-Fi 5 here, not 6, and Bluetooth 5.1, 5G, dual SIM card slots, GPS and GLONASS, and at the top side another microphone. And the front camera you're seeing here in a punch hole has remained unchanged for a few generations of Reno phones. There's a 32 megapixel shooter, while if you go to the back side, we have a pretty solid quad camera setup. I'm talking about a 64 megapixel main camera, 8 megapixel ultrawide, 2 megapixel macro, and a 2 megapixel monochrome camera. And those two have f2.4 aperture. This ensemble can take 4K 30 frames per second videos, and we also have the LED flash here. This camera focuses a lot on AI. That's one important feature to remember. And just in case you're wondering, we're running on ColorOS 11.1 applied on top of Android 11. There's a special custom dark mode, which is something I haven't quite seen before. It should be applied here somewhere. We have a lot to discover here. We can switch from dark to light. We got an eye comfort feature. We got auto rotate, color temperature, visual effects, and quite a few always on display features, and actually some good looking icons to display on your always on display lock screen. Now, aside from that, I think it's time to address the camera, because there's a lot of stuff happening here with a very special AI. Now let me just wipe the phone a bit. Okay, and back to it. So the AI is the key here. Once you activate it, it will trigger the scene enhancement, and it will also auto detect the quantity of light needed for various scenarios. You can also pull this tab here and customize some of the options. This is a new approach to the camera interface, which I haven't seen before on Oppo phone. Now here you can go to the ultra wide. Here you can zoom in. In spite of not having a telephoto camera, the zoom seems pretty decent. Here is the more section, where you have an extra HD feature, macro, slow-mo, dual view video, basically the front and back cameras working together. Extra HD is, from what I know, the full resolution of the camera used. Here we have the portrait feature, and the video department certainly has some extras as well. There's the AI highlight video, which will use the power of AI to, well, detect light conditions and apply a special algorithm to give you the best video possible for both the front and the back camera. And here you can tweak some of the settings. We also have, as usual, the stabilization, but keep in mind there are 3 stabilizations here. This is the Ultra Steady 3.0 with the following: steady and stabilization for the front camera. Yes, you can stabilize your front camera footage. This is number 1. Then there's the regular stabilization, and then there is the other one. There is the ultra-wide stabilization, ultra-wide camera stabilization. So this is pretty cool. And also a night mode, and that's pretty much it. Of course, not exactly it. We have quite a few things to discover about the phone. Now, aside from that, there's also a pro gamer mode. It's actually called gamer mode, which lets you enjoy the experience mode. It's triggered here in the game space. You can add your games, and you can actually set modes. This is balanced, and you can do surprisingly minutious tweaks to your experience for a non-gaming phone. I'm actually shocked by that. Aside from that, well, it's typical ColorOS, made a bit more fluid by the higher refresh rate. And there are also some pre-orders worldwide which give you an Oppo watch, which is actually a pretty good deal if you're pre-ordering the phone. This is pretty much it in a nutshell. I'm going to go to the display for a little bit to check out the refresh rate. So in the more section, you can see it here, 90 or 60 Hz, plus an option for the screen modes. So, my considerations: I found the phone to be very light, very slim, immersive, with a very bright screen, and a lot of promise with the involvement of AI and stabilization modes in your video capture. This is it from us. We'll be back with a full review very soon. Bye bye!